Welcome. So this morning we're going to have a conversation, or this afternoon, about meditation and relaxation. Does anybody currently have a practice of meditation and relaxation? No. Yes, a little bit? A little bit. Okay. All righty. Sitting quiet at home, yes? Turn off the TV, turn off the music. Good. Good. Anyone else?
I mean, like in the bathroom, I keep little books to kind
Okay.
of read.
All right. So in your bathroom you keep little books to read? Like, what kind of books are they?
I mean, that appeal to me.
That appeal to you? Okay. All right. Does anyone, you feel like you need to meditate? Yeah? All right. So I'm gonna try to take this, this is a really long, big topic. I'm going to do my best to condense it in the time that we have so we have some time to practice, okay? So we're going to talk a little bit about the history of meditation, what it is, where it comes from, and then why it's useful, okay? But the first thing, let's do a little practice. So if you would just sit up nice and tall, take your feet on the floor. And this is going to be our sort of our little timer today, okay? So if I go, that means you start. And I go, that means you stop, okay? So, and I'll have to use my stopwatch since we don't really have a second hand in this room, which is okay. And what I would like you to do is close your eyes, and when I give you the gong, I want you to count how many thoughts you have in a minute, okay? So just close your eyes and I'll get you a start. And okay. How many thoughts? 5, 6, 11. 11. So let's think. How many minutes in a day and how many thoughts go through our mind each day, right? So part of the goal of meditation is to become more aware of what's happening in our mind. Yes? Meditation has been around for thousands and thousands of years. Most every culture has some aspect of meditation that they do. Yes? So when we think about meditation, we might think of, folks in the Himalayas, right? Sitting and meditating, monks and those kinds of things. Yet it's actually a practice for everybody, okay? And every faith tradition has some level of meditation. We'll talk about those different ones there are. The interesting thing about us in the West, it's like the last thing we think to do because we are such a go society, yes? And we don't think it's important to slow down at any time, yet it's something that's important that we do. So we're going to talk a little bit about what are some stressors that keep us from meditating, and then we're going to practice a few things. But hold on to those thoughts that you had, okay? Let's see if we can slow them down in the process. I'm going to skip through some of this because of time. Now, the mind-body connection, our minds can affect the health of our body, right? So what does that mean to anyone? Has you heard that before? That your mind can affect the health of your body? Has anybody heard that? Oh, yeah. How might you have heard that? Mm-hmm. Can you think about that in a context? Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm an educator, so there's a huge connection between the mind and the body, between the body body does, but how the body feels.
Right. That's right. Anyone else?
Like that saying that kind of goes, think as you are, or think, like if you look at yourself a certain way, that's who you will go towards being.
Right. Have anyone ever heard the saying that I'm worrying myself sick?
Yeah.
Right? So that's just the effect of your mind on how your body is. Yes, how you're thinking. I like this particular quote as well. Thinking is good in moderation, but excessive thinking can drive us crazy. So what were some of the thoughts you were having as you were counting your thoughts? Anyone want to share?
She's moving a lot. I hope she doesn't yell.
Yeah. Anybody making a shopping list? Yeah. Fighting with your children in your head? Your significant other, thinking about what you're going to do next. All those kinds of things sort of rush through our mind throughout the day. Yes? The mind is designed to think. That's its purpose. Yet overuse is never good for anything. So here are some common myths about meditation, that it's a religion. Meditation is not a religion. Some religions follow certain types of meditation, but it's not linked to any one religion. Meditation is not an out-of-body experience, right? So a lot of us think, oh, if I just sit for long periods of time, then ultimately I'm going to leave my body, yeah? So it might feel as though you're leaving your headspace, but it's not an out-of-body experience. And meditation is not a destination, okay? When we practice meditation, we're not going to meditation. Okay, meditation is a process, and it's a process of becoming aware of how we're thinking, okay, and it's being much more intentional about the thoughts that we're having. You're not going to empty your head, so to speak. We become more intentional about the experience of thought. There are different types of meditation that you can practice. So here are a few that are listed here. And a couple of them we are going to practice in a little bit. One of them is concentration. So that's single focus. So with that, you would be either focusing on your breath is one aspect of it, or a mantra or a saying or a prayer, right? It's a repetition of a particular thought. That's a concentration type of meditation. There's mindfulness as well, and you might have heard that term, and that's being well aware of the thoughts that you're having. Even to the point of being able to control those particular thoughts that you're having. Movement meditation, so walking, there's walking types of meditation, Tai Chi, yoga, some way that you're having a physical activity or physical movement, and in that space being very present in what you're doing. So movement types of meditation. There's visualization and focus where you might be guided into a experience of thought. Loving kindness type of meditation where you spend time concentrating on loving kindness or being very aware and compassionate in your entire day, throughout your entire day. And then there's transformative meditation where, this is a good one too. So it's about thinking positive about all the experiences that you have. Here's an example of that. So you're dwelling on a particular fear or a problem, yeah? So first you would just get every single fear that you can think of. What is the worst case scenario you can come up with? And then when you realize that the situation that you're in are not going to happen in any of those worst case scenarios, then you can turn that around to what would some positive energy be. So this is a fun one to do as well. We're actually going to practice concentration in a minute. You don't need anything special to meditate. You need a quiet place, okay? You need good posture, and we're going to walk through some of that because we won't be reclining on the floor, so we can meditate anywhere, really. You need an object of focus. So for us today, it's going to be our breath, and we'll practice that in a minute. And then a passive attitude, and I'll explain this as I'm guiding you through the meditation. So a passive attitude means that as things arise in your head, you don't end up chasing that thought. Yes? Okay, and I'll walk you through that process in a minute. So, is meditation good for me? Yeah, it is if you're interested in learning some relaxation and you're going to commit to yourself to have a few minutes every day to practice. Now here it says 5, 10, or 15 minutes. At the end of this session, I'll share a particular free app that you can get on your phone, and you can meditate for a minute. All right? Anyone, when we were counting our thoughts, think that that minute was a long time? Yeah, right? When you're focusing on 1 minute of time, when you slow down, it can seem like a long time, but it really doesn't take more than 3 minutes for you. And then for children, 30 seconds to a minute before you can get them really to slow down, because they're actually closer to a meditative state than the rest of us. How can meditation or how can your emotions sort of impact your health here? So part of the reason that one might meditate, and the baby's not bothering me.
I'm sorry.
She's not bothering me, so she's not bothering anybody. Okay, so if you want to come back in, please do. Don't let the baby chase us away, right?
Right.
All right. So there are many things that can impact our health and why we might choose to meditate. Stress is a huge factor. Anybody know what stress feels like in your body? Can you explain it? How do you know when you're feeling stress?
Tight.
You feel tight? Mm-hmm.
Pressure.
Pressure where?
I don't know, you just feel it.
You feel
like
pre-
it's something on top of your head and, invisible, but you can feel that
Okay.
the atmosphere is not clear. Like
Okay.
Heavy.
It feels heavy? Okay, the atmosphere feels heavy. Yes?
Tired, you feel like you're carrying the world on your shoulders.
Okay. Anyone else? Yeah? It's good to tune into how you're physically feeling. Sometimes stress can feel like an upset stomach. Sometimes it can feel like a headache, right? Sometimes it can feel like anger. Sometimes it can feel like fear. So when you're having an emotional response, part of how meditation and relaxation can help you is to slow you down to figure out, okay, wait a minute, what is this feeling and where is it coming from? And there is a biological effect of stress on your body. I hope maybe this is the next slide. No, it's not. Well, this tells you why it works, but let's go back to this slide. So we have a hormone system, right? Everybody know what the hormone system is? The endocrine system of your body. There are two ways that your body organs communicate with each other. One is through your central nervous system. So you have neurotransmitters, so there's electrical current that happens, and then there's a chemical one, which is the hormone system or your endocrine system. And they all work together. So ladies, I know we have gentlemen in the room, but ladies, we say at certain times of the month, all of a sudden, our mood changes. But that actually is a chemical response that your body is having to the reproductive cycle of your hormones, okay? Because they're all connected together. And then one for stress we call the HPA axis. Has anyone heard of that? It's your hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis, right? Which is interesting because it's actually through a channel in your body. So the hypothalamus is in the back of your head, pituitary sits in your throat, and then you have your adrenals, which sits on your adrenal gland. And those three hormones affect each other, okay? They're the fight or flight hormones. So when we say that you get stressed out, the body naturally, and stress is relative to who you are. So what might be stressful to me might not be stressful to you, but I'll still have the same reaction just by my perception that something is stressful, okay? And so then this HPA axis gets triggered and you go into fight mode, okay? Or you go into flight mode, and you're gonna run away or get steeped in fear. So all of those things begin to wear and tear on your body just by your perception. Stress is a health issue. It is not just a mental health issue. Okay, so when we meditate, it actually reduces the stress response. So your muscles will relax, and hopefully you will have this experience in a few minutes. Your blood pressure will calm down. So if you have segments where you are having high blood pressure, when you're stressed out, by meditating, you can actually bring that blood pressure down. You get more oxygen to your body, right? So it actually clears your head because it supports your circulation, and we'll have that breath experience, and you'll see that. Stress hormones will also be reduced. And here are some other benefits of relaxation. So there's meditation and then there's relaxation. In meditation, they sort of go hand in hand. In meditation, we are mindfully choosing to slow down our thoughts. That's a mindful action that we're doing. In relaxation, the idea is to allow your physical body to enjoy that relaxation response as well. So they go hand in hand, but in meditation, it's sort of that's the beginning step that we take towards relaxation. The practice of meditation was originally practiced by monks as a way to support the body to sit for long periods of time. Yeah, so usually when you see people and you think they're meditating, they're sitting for long periods of time. Yes, it doesn't have to be practiced that way for us common folk. Okay, so let's give this a practice. So the first thing we will do is, let's see. All right, so let's first think about how we breathe. So if you can sit where those desks move to the side, that's awesome. Move your desk to the side so that you can have access to your own bellies. Okay. All right, everybody know where your lungs are, right? So you have a rib cage. Your lungs are almost the circumference of your rib cage. That's how large they are, almost. So the rib cage, they protect all of the organs, but so your lungs are fairly large. They're not just up here. Most of us breathe up here, right? It's called shallow breathing. So we're all the way up here, and we don't think to get low into our bellies or filling the lungs to their fullest capacity. If we keep breathing up here, we never really detox the body, because it's all up here. So I would like you to take your hands right onto your bellies. And we call this belly breathing, but we don't breathe with our bellies. We breathe with our lungs. Yet we can have the experience of deepening your breath through the belly. Okay, we have a diaphragm down here, and so the physiology of breathing is this. Your diaphragm lowers down, this lower diaphragm, it lowers down when the breath gets full, yeah? So think of your lungs like a balloon. They balloon out when they're filling with air. The diaphragm lowers to give space for that. When we exhale, the diaphragm lifts in order to help push the air out of the lungs, right? So if you just relax your arms and your hands on your belly and see if you can feel your belly moving with your regular breath. Can you feel your belly moving? Okay, so here, let's take your hands here. Do you feel your chest moving? Okay, so most of us can feel the chest moving, yes? And depending on how deep your breath is, this is where we should also feel the breath, down here. So place your hands onto your belly and try not to force it too much. It does take practice to learn how to breathe deeply. So take a deep inhale and try to push your belly out with your breath. As you exhale, see if you can move the belly back towards the spine. Try again. Inhale and push the belly out with your breath. Good. Exhale, move the belly back towards the spine. Okay, relax that for a minute. So if for some reason your natural thing was to do this with your breath, then we're mainly breathing here. So the idea is to begin that practice of deepening the breath in the belly, okay? All right, so that's just one. Let that go. We'll come into that in a minute. Let's begin our practice with what's called alternate nostril breathing, which will clear our circuits, okay? And then we will do an experience of meditating with the breath. So using your right hand, we're going to use the ring finger on your right hand and your thumb. And this is what's going to close off your nostrils, okay? Your ring finger for your left side, your thumb for your right side. These two fingers in the middle can sit here on your forehead, or you can tuck them in, whatever feels comfortable for you. And the idea of alternate nostril breathing is to do a circuit of breath by inhaling through one nostril and exhaling through the other, okay? And actually go right to left, all right? So let me demonstrate for you, and we'll do a few rounds, and then I'll see how you feel. So basically, we'll exhale the breath completely, yep. Close off the left nostril, inhale right, close the right, release the left, exhale. Inhale left, close, and exhale right, okay? I'll guide you through it so you're not too confused, all right? So let's begin. So exhale your breath completely, then close your left nostril with your ring finger, and then inhale through your right nostril. Close with your thumb. Release your ring finger, exhale right, left. If you're comfortable, close your right eyes. Inhale left, close, exhale right. That's one round. Inhale right, close, exhale left, inhale left, close, exhale right. Two more rounds. Inhale right, close, exhale left, inhale left, close, exhale right. Last round. Inhale right, close, exhale left, inhale left, close, exhale right. All right, bring your hand down. How's your head feel? A little lighter? Okay. So can you tell me what nostril is harder to breathe through? Try it for yourself. Is it your right or your left? It's harder to breathe through your right nostril? Okay. That means you're more in your left brain.
It's harder through my left.
That means you're more in your right brain. Because they cross, right? And you'll also notice that, so depending on how your days are going, right? So if you're all in your left brain, which is typical, it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon, we've been up for a while, we've been concentrating, we've been thinking, yeah? Try it first thing in the morning and see what happens after you come out of your dreams and see, okay? Also practicing this during the day, you can switch. If you've been too much in your left brain and you really want to get more creative, then you practice your alternate nostril breathing, all right? I like to do because it clears my circuits. If I'm feeling a little sluggish, then I'll do it midday and then, so then I feel a little lighter, okay? So that's one exercise for you. Now let's do a practice of concentration meditation. All right, so again, there were, on our little, we talked about what we needed to the basic elements of meditation, which is a quiet place. It's fairly quiet in here. We can't turn the lights down because they're filming, but otherwise I would turn the lights down for you. A proper posture. So what does that mean? It's how we're sitting in our chairs. Now, there is an alignment. I should say I'm a yoga teacher, so I'm really big on posture. Most of us are going through our day like this. We drive like this. We type like this. Yeah? So we may sit in our chair like this when we get home in front of the TV. We cook like this, right? So what's happening to my lungs, or my internal organs in this position? You're squishing them all up, right? So the idea is, how can I sit up nice and tall to give yourself some space here? So even in your chair, you want to sit with your hips as far back in the chair as you can gather. Now, if you're a shorty, it's not going to be possible because then your feet won't hit the floor, okay? So you do want to be able to have your feet flat on the floor. Look down at your feet and make sure they're parallel with one another. So you're aligning yourself. Good. Now, you can place your hands onto your thighs if that's comfortable, and you want your elbows to be heavy, so none of this, right? So you place your hands onto your thighs where your elbows are heavy. You could decide to turn your palms up. So see what feels better in your shoulders, palms down or palm up. So you play with that for yourself. What feels better? What am I going to be able to hold for a minute? We also say that palms down, you're receiving, palms up, palms down, you're giving, palms up, you're receiving. So you can decide what works best for you and what you feel you need. Okay? So with that, now let's make sure that our ears are resting right over our shoulders. So we're not doing this. Okay? All the pressure on your neck, your poor neck, your cervical spine of your neck, that upper part, and these muscles get completely stressed out trying to hold this thing on top of your head. If you line them up, then everything gets supported in a way. So I always say keep your ears right over your shoulders. And then you can bring your chin down slightly. Ideally, you close your eyes. If you're not comfortable closing your eyes, then bring your gaze down towards your lap. Okay? And first and foremost, I'd like you to just focus on your breath. So don't do anything fancy with your breath. Notice yourself breathing. Notice your inhale. Notice your exhale. And now notice the natural pause that happens between your inhale and your exhale breath. Don't do anything fancy trying to stop your breath. Just notice how your body naturally relaxes by pausing between each inhale and each exhale. Good. All right, let's blink your eyes open for a moment and let's talk about the going through the practice of meditation. So did everybody get to notice your breath? Did you notice that natural pause that happened in between your breath? Okay. So in this breathing exercise practice, we are going to be more intentional about that. And we're going to practice what's called the 4-4-4 breath. That means we will inhale to the count of 4. We'll hold the breath for 4 counts. We'll exhale to the count of 4. We'll hold for 4. We'll inhale 4. So we're being much more intentional with the breathing practice, okay? That's the first one we'd like to practice here. All right, and then strive again to come deep into the breath. So when you inhale, don't worry about it. If you're not feeling it, it does take practice. Okay, so take your nice seat, feet flat on the floor, relaxing the shoulders. If you're comfortable, close your eyes. If not, just bring your gaze down towards your lap. And then I'll begin with the counting of the breath, and then I'll let you take over, okay? Exhale your breath completely. And now inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Again, inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. On your own. Relax your breath. Open your eyes. Everybody okay? All right. How was that experience? Nice? Okay. Okay. Let's do one more of those before we do a relaxation practice. So this one is actually counting your breath. And I think that for those of us with racing minds, okay, this is one of these practices that I like to do. So there are two ways you can do it. We'll start with one variation of it, and then I'll offer you another. And that is basically counting each inhale and exhale breath. So with inhale 1, exhale 2, inhale 3, exhale 4, all the way to number 10. Okay? Then when we get to 10, you start back at number 1. If you notice you've got lost because a thought came in your mind and you started chasing it, and you're going inhale 12, exhale 13, inhale 14, and you got past 10, wherever you're at, just stop and go back to number 1. So the idea is that we don't chase our thoughts. Earlier today, when I asked you to count your thoughts, who was thinking? Okay, who was watching the thoughts? Who was counting the thoughts? Right? You were, yeah? So you have the ability to observe yourself. And that is what meditation is getting into your observer. So when thoughts come, you're the person that are thinking those thoughts. What we have a tendency to do is to let the thoughts rule us, right? And then we go off on a tangent with that thought. And so the idea is to come right back into your observer and say, okay, wait a minute. Oh, that's a very interesting thought. See you later. Okay? So there's a couple of things I'm going to use to start us in this meditation practice. To start us and to end us. Yet I did want to share with you, and this will be on your handout, there are many apps that you can use. I use one that's called the Insight Timer. It's free. It's listed on the back of your resource. And what's nice about the Insight Timer is that you can set yourself a time. You can pick a time for yourself. You can sit for a minute all the way up to a few hours, depending on how you'd like to do this. And you get a start time, which chimes for you. Right? And then it would end that same way, and then whatever amount of time. So that's something. There's also groups that you can meditate with. There are conversations about meditation. It's a very good resource, okay, for you to begin your practice if you like to use something like that. You will have me right now to be your timer, okay? So again, we're practicing counting our thoughts, or counting our breaths. So you'll sit up nice and tall and close your eyes and then just tune into your breath. So you don't have to do anything fancy with your breath now. You could choose to have a deep inhale and exhale if that works for you. If not, just stay with the natural rhythm of your breath. And I'll begin, we'll practice this for a minute, okay? We'll go for 1 minute where you're just counting to 10 and then start all over again, okay? If you lose track of your thoughts, simply go back to number 1. Remember you're practicing. Do not beat yourself up in this process. All right, as we're ready. How was that experience? Good? Okay, let's me take any questions you might have now, because we do want to end with a relaxation, and sometimes that's asking questions after relaxation might not be the best. So are there any questions or comments before we go into our relaxation practice? Yes.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
If I want, without spending a lot of time to teach a class
I'm sorry.
to clear their thoughts before we start the French,
Mm-hmm.
which do you think would be the most efficient?
Um,
Counting the breaths?
yeah, counting their breaths. Right, right. How old are your students?
I have college and high school, so
Mhm.
college are 16 and up, and the high school are starting at 10th grade.
Okay. The nice thing about the alternate nostril breathing as well is depending on what was done, where they're coming from in what class.
Right.
So if it's recess or lunch or something like that, then I would start with counting. One way to sort of bring it down, yeah? So counting the breath, if they're coming from an agitated or some activity, yeah, counting the breath works there. So, however, if they were coming from American history and they're sleepy,
Low energy.
then you want to do the alternate nostril breathing, okay?
So if they come in and they look agitated, you would do the counting. If they came in and they looked
Yes,
overwhelmed, you would do
the alternate nostril breathing.
alternate.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
Yes,
I appreciate that.
absolutely. Anyone else? Other questions? Okay, so one other thing before you leave, I think I have plenty for you here. I had taught this class earlier this year, and so I have a children's book which is on relaxation, and at first I didn't think I would have enough, so you'd have a red dot on your handout, but I think that there's enough for everyone. What's nice about this little story is it talks about a breathing technique and relaxation, so please feel free to take one when you leave, okay? Yes?
Thinking the class maybe for me, but
Mm-hmm.
what would you suggest for like her age as far as like beginning to teach meditation to relax?
Mm-hmm.
Like, toddler years, being that she's easily agitated in those
Mhm.
tantrums, what exercises would you suggest?
All right, there's one that I like to use, particularly with children, is called Save Yourself, okay? Take one hand here. You can try it. You can save yourself too. And one hand here. Okay, and then just press lightly. Okay, so you're actually pressing an acupuncture point, one on the back of your head and the front, which calms you down. And close your eyes and count to 10. Mm-hmm. And then switch. And that's usually all a toddler needs. You say, okay, it's time to save yourself. Save yourself. Save yourself. And sometimes when we're driving, we need to save ourselves, right? But that's one. And then begin to read this book, because in it basically is a story about a boy who goes into relaxation, and he does a breathing exercise. And it's one that you can read and practice with her. Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
I have an 8-year-old who gets really angry really fast.
Mhm.
What you suggest for him to try to calm himself down so he thinks the
I would say he could save himself too. Save himself. Because just by pressing, and you do it too. You just place one hand onto your forehead and one behind, and you're actually squeezing a little. Close your eyes and count to 10. And then you switch. And this is an acupuncture point, So sometimes, back in the day when we had headaches and we would drape a warm or a cool cloth on the head, that was part of that reason, right? So that you're putting a little bit of compress on that point, which helps to calm folks down. Yeah, sometimes you can do it in the top of your head. I like to do this way. And then also just teaching him about, you can do the counting of breath, but with children it's also about you inhale, exhale a certain feeling away, so that you're releasing it. One thing we didn't, there's another relaxation technique that you can do, which is really to inhale. Well, let me see if I can do it with you. So can you sort of stand up? Let's do it standing. It's better that way. right? So I'm glad you brought this one up. So the idea is you take a deep inhale. Let me demonstrate first. We would take a deep inhale all the way in and bring it down and then let it go, okay? All right, so let's try it. So don't hit your neighbor, but you have your arms alongside of you, right? And try to get that full breath. So take a deep inhale. Let it go. Yeah, isn't that good? Try it again. Let it go. Let it go, okay? That's a wonderful one, particularly with, because children do get frustrated.
What do you call that?
Let it go breath. Let it go. Partly we will always have to remember, even as adults, but as children from the time that, from infancy, right? As children are growing up and learning how to articulate how they're feeling, depending on how close they are to being an infant, what was the main way an infant got our attention? Right? So we will resort back to that because it worked back in the day. So even though your son is 8, he's having a whole lot of things happening inside of his mind and in his emotions inside of his body, and he doesn't know how to articulate that. So that's what you have coming out. So part of it is how can you, bring down that emotional response and then work towards how to articulate what's actually he's feeling, what his thoughts are around something, okay?
Sorry, what's the name again?
What, let it go? Let it go. Let it go breath. Okay, so we have about 4 minutes, so let's do the relaxation. I was going to try to do this with music, so let's see if I can get my phone to be loud enough for it, okay? So in relaxation, you do want to have a little music. It helps, right? But not trap music, okay? It's not going to relax you. Well, it might. But, so music is powerful in that it's actually vibratory. It works on vibrations. And those vibrations also in tune with our own internal vibration. So think about what vibration you want to resonate with when you are meditating, okay? And it's not best to do it to the blues, okay? Or any kind of sad love song. You want something that's uplifting to your spirit when you are going through meditation, or relaxation. Meditation is best done in the quiet as best because you're trying to calm the mind down. Where's the music? Where are you? All right, there you go. Okay, so let's see if I can get this up for you. And let's see if you can hear this, okay? All right, so take your comfortable seat. Get rid of your desk again. Can you hear that? Good? Phones are powerful, right? Do everything with them these days. Okay, take your seat. Close your eyes if you're comfortable with that. And focus on your breath. So don't do anything fancy with your breath. Now bring your awareness to the top of your head. And you can relax your eyes by softening the skin of your scalp and your forehead. No worry lines. Just relax your brow. Relax the muscles of your jaw. Just relax your throat. Relax your shoulders. Relax your arms and your hands. Release the weight of your hips into your chair, relaxing your thighs. Relax your shins and calves. Relax your ankles. And relax your feet. Whole body relaxing. Mind on your breath. Any questions? So hopefully on your handout you can see the resources I listed there. I also gave you this little action plan, which is to think about 2 strategies that you could use from today, and then list what kind of obstacles get in your way of those 2 strategies, right? And then find a way to identify a plan to work around them. So if you say you don't have enough time, it doesn't take much time. Just decide on what is feasible. If 2 minutes is feasible, take 2 minutes. If 3 is feasible, take 3. So take it in small chunks. If you practice every day, in time, it becomes just a habit. And then here's the resources. There's an online meditation center, the Insight Timer app I mentioned, one of my favorite resources, which is the Center for Mindful Eating. They have some wonderful, oh, what did I do? Did I do that? Anyway, the Center for Mindful Eating has a wonderful resources that are centered around mindfully eating, but it's also centers around what does it mean about mindfulness. So that one is there as well. And I forgot what the last one was. Oh, I think it's my website. Okay. So thank you so much for coming.